Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Shipper. I'm a cartoonist, and I talk about the work that's influenced me and that I love and that I want to share. This is my book, Joe Death and the Graven Image. It came out a few years ago, and that's what the pages look like. I'm very proud of it. I'm working on the second book right now, and can't wait to share more about that later, but if you'd like to read my work, get a feel for what I do, you can buy this book on my website, benjaminshipper.com. Link in the description below. This is going to be kind of a quick one, probably. There's so much I could talk about Mike Mignola and Hellboy. These books were no doubt the most influential thing as far as like me getting a desire to do comics. It painted such a broad picture in my mind of the possibilities of comics from a literary perspective. So one of the reasons I even started reading Hellboy was, I believe it was Andrew McLean, who I was following at the time, and I still follow. He posted something about like on Instagram, and it was like, "Thank you, Mike," and he showed the collection of Hellboy, and I was like, oh no, did like Mike Mignola die? Because it was sort of that like tone of like, thanks for all the work, you know. And I just did a quick Google search, and I was like, oh no, like Hellboy died. The character ended, and I was like, that does not happen often in comics. And it's one of the major reasons why I don't really love comics. It's because it's Batman, it's never ending. Spider-Man, it's always like dressing up a new guy and getting him out there, you know, for this tired act for the 100th time, you know. Isn't it an interesting sandbox? I guess like there's a case to be made, but it's just like I want some kind of integrity to a story and a world, not just a costume that you just keep dressing up and you keep filling with a new body, a warm body that you just kind of keep out there dancing, you know, until they're long past interesting. I've got some thoughts, obviously, but the fact that Hellboy like ended in Hellboy in Hell 10 issues was like, that's why I went to the comic book store and grabbed the final issues. I don't even think I read the early ones. I got this one, and I sat outside and I read it, and I was blown away by a few things. You know, that decision from a creator to essentially stop the money, not necessarily stop the money, because that's obviously not, obviously hasn't happened, but just the decision to end, like to have a character at the end. Anyway, I feel like that's so rare, I'm just going to keep talking about it. But what struck me in this issue was the narrative quality, and specifically the narrative quality of distance, that is biblical in tone. So in this issue, Hellboy, he's already killed like Satan in the underworld, and he looms large, ever larger in hell as a kind of destruction of the underworld. And he, you know, physically and mythically. So this is a mythical kind of aberration, I feel like, in the Hellboy world. I mean, he's very much kind of like blue collar for a while, forever maybe. And this kind of taking up of a mythical mantle that he has so long, you know, not wanted to have, shows up in this way of him essentially becoming a giant, beating the, you know, standing on mountains, smacking down Leviathan and Behemoth, you know, and And it could have been so goofy. It could have been so goofy if it was a material perspective that explained how did he how did he get to be 100 feet tall. How is he grabbing lightning? How does that work? Thankfully, like, Mike is a well-read guy, and he knew what I'm calling here as narrative distance. So he's having the A story, be told by B, C characters. This demon who flies to the witch and begins explaining the fall of the underworld. And I'll read a bit because that's what we're here for. Tell me, he has snuffed out the light of the world? Who? Pandemonium has fallen, Satan is dead, and now also all his princes. All dead? I was there. I told you before how the princes fled their city with their armies, how those armies turned on them and tore them to pieces. Well, some few survived, hidden away in Beelzebub's castle, out near the edge of the world. I and a few others, we offered ourselves there to be slaves. Slaves? Tell me, at least that isn't true. You don't know what it was like. You didn't see. There at least we were safe. Goes on a bit. And talking about the princes of hell calling up Leviathan out of the pit. And then this part is just so good. It's just like showing the narrator in his place there, looking out and seeing Hellboy coming. I'd gone to sit at a window, so I was the only one to see it coming. A giant striding across the mountains, wrapped in flames. Then I saw Leviathan rise up out of the sea. Then from somewhere out in the dark, Behemoth. It's poetic. I mean, it's biblical. And you don't even get like the splashy sound effects, which I love as a visual. Seeing sound effects sometimes it makes a panel or a page feel complete, but the absence of it all is just so nice here. To put a pow or a boom, it's like it'd be possibly, it would deaden the poetic nature or the distance, I think. And again, more silent, cosmic, and then emptiness. Then lightning. Out of the sky, behind the giant, all those former slaves come to have revenge on the last of their former masters. And then crack. That's nice. Like his horns. He sort of he lived into who he was as a creature, his purpose, sort of as a destroyer. But Mike has flipped the script on hell, and the destroyer has come to hell to do what he's supposed to do. Which supports my everlasting view that Hellboy is not a demon, but an angel. Because the only difference from my perspective of angels and demons is the choice that they make. So a choice to save life versus a choice to destroy it. I mean, Mike only really shows us the underworld, and it's a little goofy in the way that there's a higher element in the world of Hellboy, but it's like aliens, you know. It's not real angels and it's not real God. It's like aliens. But underneath the world, it's all the evil is sort of true and real. So it doesn't hold up completely to like a mythology, in my opinion, or a substantial one. But still really nice. Like again, this was like me seeing something from a cartoonist that suggested potential for a bigger, grander narrative. So I'll always have it close by me on my desk, and it's a good one. If you have not read any Hellboy, I don't mind. I don't mind suggesting start at the end. I think these are some of the best pieces that he's done over the years. Certainly, some of the shorter stories of just like, you know, detective kind of stuff. That's very accessible. But I was certainly searching for something more mythic, something a little grander, and I found it here. So, thank you, Mike, and thanks to everyone for watching and subscribing and telling your friends, sharing the links around. Follow me on Substack if you're not already. I'm writing there more, so I'm really not sharing as much artwork, but writing more about writing more about writing, or writing more about foundational kind of principles to narrative and meaning, I think, which is not, certainly I'm not unique these days in doing that, but check me out there. If you do want to read my work and kind of catch a little bit of what I'm talking about or suggesting, pick up Joe Death in the Graven Image. Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a good day.